Be worthy of the office if I'm going to make a decision based on my personal agenda or what I personally believed or wanted to advance. So that's not what it's about. What it's about is taking the stare decisis or the laws of this country, the philosophy behind the law of this country, and just make the ruling, and that's what I did.
Caroline, why did this year's committee think that Judge Price was an appropriate recipient or an ideal recipient for this award?
Well, as he just described, it took tremendous courage for him to rule the way that he did. The role of religion in our public life is still something that is so close to people's emotions that it's sometimes hard to remember that we need to keep the principle of separation of church and state if we are all to be able to practice our religion and believe the way that each one of us wants to be able to do.
John, why do you think it's important to single out elected officials for this kind of award? And in this day and age, is it hard to find qualified recipients?
No, though often they don't get as much attention as they deserve. The reason why elected officials are singled out is because elected officials face a peculiar kind of pressure from constituent groups, from public opinion, from media attention, and the award seeks to find those individuals out and to recognize them. And what I think is particularly inspiring about the example of this year is 35 years after Governor Wallace stood in the courthouse, college door of Alabama, we have an African-American judge and a white judge disagreeing on a principle of the Constitution that has nothing to do with race. So I think that's a great thing for this country and a great thing for Alabama.
Caroline, there's been some talk of taking away Judge Price's seat as a result of accepting this award. What's your view on that?
Well, the award seeks to honor people of courage, and as my father described, those are people who stand up for principles that they believe in that serve the larger national interest of all Americans, and in this case of the Constitution, which is protecting all of us. And we can't give in to the local interest or something that seems to fire the passions of the time. We really have to take the long view, and obviously that would be terrible, but Judge Price will face re-election, and that is the tough thing, because he was willing to take a stand knowing that the voters would pass judgment on that conduct later. But I think hopefully by then people will look and see what he did, and that he really wasn't inhibiting religion in any way. He was trying to make it possible for everybody to practice the religion that they want.
Caroline, quickly in closing, I know that an expanded exhibit of some of your mother's possessions will be opening Saturday at the library. Her wedding dress, I understand, will be on display, as well as a poem she wrote to your father on their first anniversary. Is that correct? That's right. She set the meter to one of his favorite books, which was John Brown's Body. And it's really a wonderful poem that captures a lot of his qualities. And she wrote it in the 1950s, and it sort of evokes all the things that he would become later in his life. And perhaps people who see these things can learn even more about your mother, and perhaps another side of your mother they might not know of already. Well, Caroline and John Kennedy and Judge Price, congratulations on your award, and thanks so much to all of you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more of Today right after these messages.